On September 16, 1975, the people of Papua New Guinea celebrated something quite special. Their Independence Day. It marked the day that the country shed the final vestiges of colonial rule and became an independent nation. While the transition to independence was peaceful, it came after decades of foreign administration, wartime experiences, and growing national consciousness across one of the most culturally diverse countries on Earth. Today we'll explore how Papua New Guinea won its freedom and what that means for the country today. To understand how Papua New Guinea achieved independence, we need to go back to the late 19th century. At that point, outside powers had begun to take an interest in the island of New Guinea. The island was home to hundreds of distinct cultural groups and had remained relatively untouched by Europeans. However, the scramble for colonies was on, and the Germans, British and Dutch all had their eyes on the prize. Eventually, the northern half of the island became German New Guinea, while the southern region, known as Papua, was administered by Britain. In 1906, Papua was transferred to the Australian government, and soon the region would be split into two separate Australian-run administrations: the territory of Papua and the territory of New Guinea. This division would have lasting consequences for the region and set the stage for the events leading up to independence. During World War II, Papua New Guinea became one of the most important battlefields in the Pacific Theater. Australian and American forces fought fierce campaigns against the Japanese along the Kokoda Track, in Lae, and at Milne Bay. These battles brought the war directly to the local population and laid the foundations for broader political awareness. After the war, the two territories were formally joined and administered by Australia as the territory of Papua and New Guinea. It was during this time that the seeds of independence were planted. Local leaders began to agitate for greater self-determination, and the Australian government began to take steps to address this. In the 1950s and 60s, Australia introduced limited local representation and began preparing the territory for eventual self-rule. New institutions were created, and Papua New Guineans began to enter the civil service. Political parties began to emerge, one of which, the Pangu Party, advocated for full independence. Under the leadership of Michael Somare, the party gained widespread support and helped to build momentum towards self-government. In 1968, the Australian government agreed to grant Papua New Guinea limited self-government, and in 1972, a new constitution was drafted. This paved the way for the country's first national elections, which were held in 1972. The Pangu Party won the election and Somare became chief minister. This was a significant step towards independence. However, there was still a lot of work to be done. Negotiations with Australia were complex and difficult, and it wasn't until September 16, 1975, that the country finally gained full independence. On that day, the flag of Papua New Guinea was raised for the first time in Port Moresby, and Sir Michael Somare became the country's first prime minister. Australia formally transferred power, and the new nation joined the Commonwealth of Nations. It was a moment of great joy and celebration for the people of Papua New Guinea. Celebrations were held throughout the country, and traditional Melanesian dances from the highlands. Coastal communities and island groups gathered to mark the birth of the new state. The ceremony was a beautiful example of the country's rich cultural heritage and a fitting tribute to the hard-won independence. In the years since independence, Papua New Guinea has faced many challenges. With over 800 languages and hundreds of distinct cultural groups, building national unity has been a major priority. Economic development has been complicated by difficult terrain, limited infrastructure, and regional inequalities. Separatist tensions soon emerged, most notably in Bougainville, which erupted in conflict in the late 1980s. Nevertheless, Papua New Guinea has maintained a democratic political system, participated actively in regional Pacific institutions, and developed a growing resource-driven economy. It's a story that should inspire us all and a legacy that should be celebrated. What are your thoughts? Do you find the story of Papua New Guinea inspiring? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and share it with others. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.